if you cannot achieve the citizenship Austrian or German through heritage, there is another way, which is the Citizenship by Investment program.
Hi Dan, thank you for coming. It's great having you with us. And you are a real expert in citizenships based on investment. So first of all, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, first of all, thanks for having me. My name is Dan Marconi. I represent Hanley & Partners in Israel. I'm a head of Tel Aviv office, and I have to say it's really nice to be here with you, talking about residence by investment. We actually, as a Hanley & Partners, we invented the concept of residence by investment in the early 90s and citizenship by investment.
So as you know, our main expertise is foreign passports, mainly European passports, based on family heritage, most of the time Jewish heritage. So I'm sure you are also experiencing, like we are, a lot of interest in the Israeli public with the German and Austrian citizenships based on Jewish heritage. In Germany and Austria, they changed the laws 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they changed the law, and they're making it much more easy for those children and grandchildren and even great-grandchildren of Jewish people that have been persecuted by the Nazis and had to flee Germany. They used to be citizens or even residents. They fled between 33 and until the end of the war, and now their descendants can much easier get back these citizenships, and we deal with all of that. But sometimes people come to us and they don't meet the criteria, or they have different family origin. Like, what can you do for them?
Well, in this case, actually, I share with this view with you. I see a lot of interest about Israeli people for this kind of services. And if you cannot achieve the citizenship Austrian or German through heritage, there is another way, which is the Citizenship by Investment program in Austria, because Germany has not at the moment.
Okay,
actually,
so let's be clear. So in Germany, there's no,
Germany is impossible.
no program.
And actually, also in Austria, there is no a program, but there is a law that allows people that are investing, as you said before, a ridiculous amount because it's very big. But it's Austria is an amazing passport. Is the top in the top three in the world. You can visit more than 180 countries. So it's okay if you contribute to the nation in a significant way, which is I think this is very important because sometimes when I deal with people, they say, you can really get citizenship through investment, and I say yes. This is to me it makes complete sense because if you think that if you contribute with your money or with your talent to a nation, then you deserve something in exchange. Can be residence, citizenship. There is nothing wrong. I think, and also money is not evil. It's not bad in itself. It depends on what you do with this money. For example, if through your money you can make a new ski resort in Kitzbühel, are you not happy? Or maybe something more more interesting, like you make an hospital in Granada. I don't know, which it is good. It's good or not? Yeah. It's good.
So how do you start? If someone comes to me and says, I don't have family from Germany or Austria, but I do want a European passport, like what's the first step? Obviously, first of all, I refer them to you.
Thank you.
But after that?
After that, of course, I will meet with the client through Zoom or personally. I prefer personally. And then there will be an exchange of information. After that, usually we have to perform the due diligence on the client because we have a big reputational risk as a firm. We invented the concept of citizenship by investment. So imagine the fact that our company is allowing people that don't deserve to have a passport of I don't know, like Austria, like we said. So first of all, we perform the due diligence on the client, and then we will go on the process the client will say, okay, I want to do with you. I want to go on with that, and then there will be a lot of flow of documents that you can have actually through your law firm. For example, we have to certify the passports. Everything is very, very, very explained in the documents that usually we send to the client to let them know how it works from A to Z, like all the steps to get the citizenship. So basically, we represent the client in front of the authorities, the fiscal authorities, the government, and then we will take on the client until the end of the process, can be residence or citizenship. And then also later, for example, if you get, I don't know, St. Kitts and Nevis passport, then you will have to renew it. We will be there for you, always.
And how long does this kind of process typically take?
It depends a lot on the program. Let's say that can be some months. Let's say, I will say personally, yeah.
So fast.
Yeah, it can be fast or very, very long. For example, Portugal is very famous at the moment. It's very successful. Even if they change the law, it's still there. And if you are legal resident in Portugal through the program, of course, so you have to invest, you have to make the application, submit application for the program, and then you wait 5 years of residence, then you're eligible to ask for the citizenship. So at the end of 6 years, you have the passport. That means if you compare to, I don't know, the fastest maybe is a Santa Lucia passport, which is 6 months, let's say. Okay. Portugal is not that fast because it takes almost 7 years, but it's European, and basically you don't have to live in Portugal. You invest, you stay 1 week per year there, and then at the end of the 6th year, if everything is fine, like if you kept the investment, if you met the requirement to be there 1 week per year, then you get your passport.
So Dan, we were talking about European citizenships based on heritage, based on investments, but I know that Israelis are also interested in other citizenships. Like we know that different islands in the Caribbean give citizenship as well. Like what are the advantages of that?
First of all, it's very easy to get, compared to the European ones, it's very easy to get citizenship in one of the Caribbean countries. Can be St. Kitts and Nevis. Even if I have to say they are changing the law. So yeah, this is very interesting for the audience, the Israeli audience, because they're changing all the laws. And for example, St. Kitts has increased by double already all the financial requirements. And we think that all the other countries in the Caribbean islands will follow this trend. Also because of the pressures from the European community, and but still there are a lot of advantages. First of all, is the freedom of movement, because for example, I have a client of course is very wealthy, and he has a yacht, and he cannot go with the Israeli passport to Malaysia. And said, look, I'm with my yacht, and I cannot sail to Malaysia. What can I do? I say, no problem. We can have a passport in St. Lucia, for example. The due diligence is very good in St. Lucia and not expensive at all at the moment. So you can get a passport easily in, let's say, 4-6 months, if the documents are correct and fast. And then he has freedom of movements basically in most part of the world. So this is a good, the biggest advantage for an Israeli passport holder that is approaching to an investment in the Caribbean islands. Of course, there is a part also of investments. For example, in Grenada, there is a nice development that you can buy hotel shares, which is very good. There are all luxury hotels, so it's a good investment. But basically, when someone is thinking about to get the citizenship of the Caribbean islands, is because he wants more freedom of movement.
Okay, yeah, freedom of movement is a big issue. We also know that Israelis, until today, even though Israel and the United States have such a close relationship, until today, Israelis visiting, even to visit in the States, they had to go through the whole process of getting a visa, which was very frustrating for many Israelis, to pay the fees, to wait in lines. These days, also because of post-COVID issues, it's taking a long time. We really hope that very soon Israelis will be able to visit freely in the States just with filling out the online form, the ESTA, but we're still waiting for that. What are the countries in Europe that you can get directly citizenship based on investment, not residency, a program directly for citizenship?
So it's very interesting what you said about the how to get straight citizenship. We already talked about Austria. The other way is Malta. Malta is not an investment. It is very important. It's create a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of confusion between my clients because there is it. MESD means, which is the name of the program, it means direct investment, exceptional direct investment. So it's not an investment; it's a contribution, it's a donation that you make to the government of Malta, and in exchange you get citizenship. It's amazing because it's very fast, and you get straight citizenship. While in Austria, that we talked about, it takes between 2 and 3 years. In Malta, in a little bit more than 1 year, you get straight citizenship. It's a donation. It's expensive because it's more than 1 million with all the government fees and blah blah. But still, is an amazing option to get straight citizenship.
But donation actually means that you don't get it back. That's money that you contribute to the
exactly.
Malta.
It's a donation.
State of Malta.
It's a donation.
But the advantage is that it goes faster.
It's faster. It's the citizenship for whole your family, which is very good. Depends a little bit on the age, but anyway, or the children. But it's still an amazing path to get straight citizenship. As we said, Europe is once you have a European passport, you are free to move basically everywhere, and you can set up your business in the whole Europe, which is very, very interesting if you think about it. So yeah, it's very powerful, and Malta is a completely part of the European Union. So I'm Italian, the passport of Malta is exactly the same thing.
So do you have any last tips for anyone who's interested in citizenship or residency based on investment?
Yeah, call me or drop me an email.
Okay.
Because yeah, we are the expert. We this is exactly what we do. And maybe only if you have some doubts, if you want to just talk, just get in contact.
I've learned a lot in our exchange, and I'm sure our audience have also gained very important information. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.